this is very nice as we're sitting here in our community circle, and we're in this state of mind considering these matters, but in the real world, as though this weren't really real and that's really real. Things are real because we proclaim them as real. Reality is as proclamation. However, how to remember this? I would suggest that our own discomfort, our own suffering, our own irritability, our own impatience, our own resistance, our own resentment becomes a signal. It's not a symptom. Let's call it a signal that a particular way of knowing is in force. And if we can learn that when we have that irritability, impatience, constriction, contraction, resentment, and resistance as a signal that a particular aperture setting is in place, a particular way of knowing is in force, and we're signaled by the discomfort, our ordinary tendency is to then explain the discomfort by what we're going through. And I would suggest that that's a trap. That we take our resistance and our resentment and our discomfort and our disharmony as a signal that a particular interpretive tendency is in play. Particularly if it's happening again. If it's happening again, and there it is again, and this is always happening to me, that could be a signal that a particularly practiced interpretive tendency and construal is in place. My grandson said to me that whatever we're seeing is always an approximation. It's an approximation. I would call it an interpretation. I would suggest that we have characteristic ways of interpreting events and circumstances. The good part is it makes our life very predictable, because the same old shit is always happening. And it gives our sense of self continuity and consistency in time. That's the benefit of it. If you're tired of that, what we could do is recognize the interpretive tendency that's in play. And the way to remember is that there's an irritability, impatience, anxiety, apprehension, discomfort, disease that's occurring. And that becomes the signal that a particular way of knowing or perceiving is in play. A. B. If we then have some kind of practice that helps us regulate our state of mind, state of heart, and if we work with the recognition that there are constrictions or contractions, and we want to dilate, open, relax, release, and we have ways of some practice that we do, it doesn't require a long time. What it requires is frequent repetition. We got the way we are because we practiced it for a long time. And we're very good at what we practice, and we're always practicing something. So if we start paying attention to what it is we're practicing, we recognize that this is a consequence of my usual way of practicing, being concerned about what people are thinking about me, or my usual interpretive tendency. And we can relax it with image, blue sky, a metta practice, breath practice, whatever practice you're doing, have it linked so that you you can call upon it several times a day to return. It's like regulating the rheostat. Several times a day, you just return to something that's more calm, more clear. Basically, it seems that what we're desiring is to live with greater ease. We want to live with greater ease. We want to live with greater comfort. We want to have more calm, more peace, more equanimity, more balance, more harmony in our lives. We want to be able to be responsive to other human beings and their condition. We want to be less reactive. We want to be less egocentric. We want to be less resentful, resistant, angry. We want to be more open, compassionate, and loving.